You know, I really love these portable practice baskets because, well, as an amateur player, I need all the practice I can get. Speaking of amateurs, welcome to Disctv's coverage of the 2002 United States Amateur Disc Golf Championships here from Milford, Michigan. I'm Brian Sullivan. Now, the top AM players from across the country have gathered to test their skills against each other and what's likely to be the most difficult course they're going to play all season. So who's going to be our winner? Stay tuned and find out, because Disctv is on the air right now, baby. Also this week, former world champion Ron Russell talks with amateur disc golfers who are looking to move up into the pro ranks. Russell has tips on how to improve your putting and explains how to stretch out. It's all about disc golf. This is Disctv.
Good, hot.
Disctv is brought to you in part by the Professional Disc Golf Association, guiding disc golf into the future. Maceman Disc Golf Gear, expect the best. And by DiscLife.com, the world leader in disc golf. Welcome to AM Nationals. It's Disctv's coverage of the inaugural United States Amateur Disc Golf Championships here in Milford, Michigan. I'm Brian Sullivan with this weekend's tournament director, Todd White. Todd, thanks for having us out.
Thanks. Great to be here. Great to be here. Have you guys out here with us.
So, first of all, give me a little bit of the scope of this event, Todd. It's the first time we've had an amateur national championship. So first off, let's talk about the format.
The format is everybody had to qualify that's playing or get a state coordinator invite. There's 144 players. They have tee times and they play one round a day and then a final night on Sunday.
And at the end of the weekend, the amateur U.S. disc golf champions will be crowned.
That is correct.
Okay, so the course, this is a tough course. You've used it before. Tell me about the toboggan.
The toboggan course was used at the Pro-Am Worlds 2000. The world-class par was 55.5. We made it a little bit harder because we didn't have too many time constraints. And it is playing that tough again. There is a bounty if anybody shoots under par this weekend.
Wow. So now this is an actual, it's used as a toboggan, a sledding course in the winter, right?
That is correct. When the snow falls, there's large sledding runs that people go down, and the hills that they get really big speed and go a long way, just like the discs out here.
So elevation clearly going to play in this weekend. What about wind?
Wind, there's always prevailing winds up on the hills and things like that, and we may be getting some more wind this weekend. It's the forecast.
Todd, I know it's especially tough to call when you've got a full field of amateurs, but of the names that you have seen get signed up this weekend, who have you got your eye on?
Well, the person that shot the best round 2 over today was Chris Schmidt. I was told he's 16 years old. I like to watch Garrett Gerthy from Florida. He's, I believe, 11 years old, and he's throwing pretty good. And then I'm always watching the new local boy on the scene, Pete Wingard. He's from Ann Arbor. He was an ultimate player, and he's only been playing this year, but he's playing great.
Todd, thanks. We'll talk to you again real soon. In the meantime, let's get you right to the action. Amateur players form the backbone of the PDGA membership. In fact, nearly 70% of PDGA members are in the amateur ranks. It's these players who keep the organization strong through their memberships, their local and regional volunteer efforts, and their sheer numbers. And it's these players who contribute a chunk of their entry fees to the pro purses every week on the tour. So for the disc golf amateurs, this event is one of the few where they get an opportunity to feel the national spotlight. Welcome to the AM Nationals. The format this weekend is 3 rounds of 18 and a final 9 for the top 4 players. The toboggan course here at Kensington Metro Park in the greater Detroit area is only set up once a year, specifically for this event. And the challenges are more than most of these players will face on any other course this year. For starters, the total length of the toboggan is over 8,400 feet. That's an average distance of about 470 feet per hole. Hope you brought your big arm, boys, because you're going to need it. Next to consider is the elevation changes. In the winter, kids come from miles around to sled down these steep hills. If you're throwing downhill, going too far off course can quickly add extra strokes to your scorecard. And if you're throwing uphill, you'll need all the power you can possibly muster. In other words, if you got a weenie arm, you are in trouble, dude. So who was tearing it up this weekend? Jay Bakula, for one. The Illinois boy was taking a cue from 11-time world champ Ken Climo for his game plan at Am Nationals, which was to let others set the initial pace and lull them into a false sense of security. Bakula had his putting game on as he carded a 6-over par 60 in round 1. An impressive score on this course, but one that would keep him 3 or 4 strokes away from the leaders. The pressure was always easier to handle from the second card, which is where Jay Bakula would remain after round 2, thanks to another solid round of 60. By round 3, it was time to bust a move, and he would shoot the lights out to tie the amateur course record of 56. That impressive score would be just enough to pull Jay Bakula into the final 9. Josh Whalen is from Columbus, Ohio. Now, he may be a big dog at his local park, but here he'll have to prove he's a disc golf animal worthy of a national title. And there's 143 other players out there gunning for the same thing. Now, like Bakula, it took a little time for Whalen to get this tough and unusual course dialed in. An 8-over par 62 in the first round would land him on the 5th card, with a bunch of ground to make up. He would answer the challenge in round 2, when it was Whalen's turn to tie the course amateur record of 56. He got there with precision driving. Some long putts would prove helpful too. A 59 in round 3, and Josh Whalen makes it into our final 9 by a single stroke. John Burpee came to Am Nationals from Atlanta, Georgia, and he subscribes to the Cameron Todd School of Championship Play, which is to play well and consistently. Round 1, Burpee shoots a 58 and is sitting comfortably in 3rd place. Round 2, Burpee shoots 1 stroke higher at 59, which is still good enough to keep him in 3rd. He's got a wicked forehand approach shot that is effective in getting him to the green, where drop-in putts would become his calling card. For round 3, Burpee was again consistent with a 4-over par 58, and Atlanta's John Burpee is good to go for the finals. Scott Burnett has only been playing disc golf for a couple of years, but the Dayton, Ohio native clearly has the natural athletic ability to give him a chance at the Tall Trophy this weekend. Burnett would set the pace here in Michigan and hit the ground running with a 3-over par 57 in round 1. That would put him in 2nd place early on, a position he was not satisfied with, so Burnett took it to the house in round 2 and would tie the course amateur record of 56. Now solidly in 1st place, Burnett set his game to cruise control for round 3, carding a 5-over 59. Big putts, big drives, and big fun. With 9 holes to go, Dayton's Scott Burnett leads it by 3. From Milford, Michigan, it's the U.S. Amateur Disc Golf Championships. Keep it right here. The final 9 holes are coming up. You are watching Disctv.
Folks, welcome to the 2002 United States Amateur Disc Golf Championship Discraft Clinic featuring Ron Russell, former world champion of the sport of Frisbee golf.
Thanks. Well, number one, like I said, you have to take all the pressure off yourself. If you step up to a putt and have anything negative in your head at all, you're probably going to miss it, or you have a good chance of missing it. As far as, I need this one, or, oh my God, I'm trying to go to 5, this will put me at 5 under. That's all bad stuff to have in your head when you step up to a putt. You have to clear your mind, take a few breaths. What I do is when I step up to the basket, doesn't matter where it's from, I always try and calm myself down before the putt. Don't put any pressure on the putt as far as I need this one. You just step up like it's any other putt in practice and don't do anything you do different in the practice. So I step up and I take a deep breath. And then I just kind of relax and then focus on the basket and throw it in. And I don't take my time and talk myself out of it. Most people when they practice putting will get up and just toss putts in. consistently throw them in. And that's what you want to do in the tournament. You don't want to get up there in the tournament and go, okay, how did I do that before? Now is no time to work on your game. It's just time to throw it in like you always do. And if you miss, it's just a fluke. Or you just have to let it go completely. You don't put any more thought into it. Don't figure out why you missed that putt. Just move on and play the round. Worry about it later after the round. I hold the disc like this. We call it, Climo and myself call this a control grip. A lot of people typically throw like this, right? With all the fingers tucked under, they call it a power grip. Well, you lose a lot of accuracy with that grip. I've got one point here, one out here, one on the rim, and one on the top. They're all pretty much equal pressure. All of it comes off at the end. But this grip, this fan type control grip, will allow the disc to, it gives it something to come off of. Instead of, see, when you grip it like this, see how flimsy it is? When I'm gripping it, you can't move the disc. I've got full control of the disc. You lose a little bit of distance, but you gain accuracy with that grip. And I do the same thing with my putting. The same grip, except I barely grip it. Same grip as my driving every shot.
You're still touching the bottom of the disc?
Yep, I'm touching the bottom of it with 3 points. Actually, I throw my drivers like this, and I tuck my little finger in for putting, a little bit more of a fan. But here's a putting grip. You can see it's not distorting the disc at all, just barely gripping it. It's all about touch and spin on the putting. And then if I'm throwing it 400 feet, this is what it looks like. You know? Stretching is key. If you want to play this game more than the next 7 years or so, you might want to think about doing some stretching right now. I don't care what kind of shape you're in. Your muscles aren't ready. You have to wake up your muscles to get ready to play.
And show us the stretches that you're talking about.
Otherwise, you're apt to get hurt. Some of the good stretching that I do before every round I play now, I religiously stretch. Number one, I have a lot of stretches for my lower back. You know, the way we're playing can really take a toll on your body after about 4 or 5 years. Even just carrying a heavy bag on your shoulder is going to do some damage. So you want to do, you know, some stretches like this to get your everything stretched out. And then I get down and I do many stretches before I start. I usually start like this and try and push your heel as far as you can get it to go with the opposite arm and stretch, make it as long as possible, and hold that for about 10-15 seconds and do it the other way. You might even get a pop in your back when you're doing that. This is aligning your body and stretching out. All the muscles are connected on a V. And then, of course, I stretch my knees and like this, and then you want to stretch your all back through here. Any muscles that you could think of that you could stretch is doing good for you before you start. Also, I find a tree or a pole and I put my arm on it and stretch all these muscles.
Oh no, I'm Irish.
Your pecs and your pecs. You know, I'm sure everybody's had a little pec problem if they're throwing discs. You know, you want to stretch those out both ways. Then you just pull in like this for the opposite way, and always do both sides whatever stretch you're doing. The crossover, this is good for your hips right here. Try to keep your shoulders on the ground and pull your leg over, and you can feel it all up and through here. And that's another problem area for disc golfers. Of course, do it on the other side as well.
Visualization is a remarkable tool. Many of the top athletes do it. Before they throw the shot, they see the shot. And for you folks just starting that, imagine the perfect form of a Ron Russell, throwing that perfect shot, following through smooth and clean and picture perfect, except now your head's on his body. That's what you're doing. Visualize that perfect shot before you throw it. Hey, maybe it'll even work.
So Todd, this is a temporary course, right?
Yes, that's correct. The toboggan course is put in only for major events like the Pro-Am Worlds 2000 and this event, the United States Amateur Disc Golf Championships.
This would be a wicked regular course. Time to take a closer look at one of the holes that's going to be challenging these players this weekend. We're on hole 3 at the toboggan course here at Kensington Metro Park in the greater Detroit area. We're with Todd White again. Todd, tell me about the hole.
The hole is, again, number 3. It's 829 feet long, 100-foot elevation drop. Nasty stuff to the right. It's kind of open to the left if you get that far, but you have to have a good drive and hopefully be in the center.
So my main goal here coming off the pad, other than hitting the fairway, is to avoid going off to the right side here where there's the real trouble.
Yes, you definitely don't want to turn it over right, especially early.
And what do we have to think about as far as the wind here?
The wind, it's usually a prevailing headwind, but today it seems to be swirling because we have a front moving in, so it's going to be interesting.
All right, let's give it a go.
Okay.
So what's your game plan here, Todd?
What I'm going to try to do is take a stable driver, lightweight, and try to throw it, make it turn over a little bit and land in the center so it'll hyzer out at the end and hopefully land in the center.
Sounds very complicated. Please show me the way.
Okay.
Oh, baby. Just as you called it, the slight turnover, now it's hyzering out, and it is going to be right off the fairway. Very nice. Well, I'm a little worried about the wind, so I'm going to go with a mid-range stable disc here. At least I'm hoping this is going to be stable, and try to get it basically straight on down there.
All right.
Turn over. Come on. No, bye-bye.
You made it past the tree, so you'll be sitting in a fairway.
Get the feeling a 3 is going to be out of the question from here. Wow.
I don't know what kind of distance you have, but you might want to pull it out.
I don't think I have that distance today, Todd. That's got to be a good 450 at least yet. All right, I'm just going to let this one out.
Going pretty good.
Just get to the hill. Maybe not. Nice drive.
Yeah, I kind of lucked out by landing on the top of the hill and not the side.
You actually have room for the run up now, which I'm guessing you're going to want.
Yeah, it's still a bit of ways from here. Let's see if I can get there. I've got a little bit of a tailwind maybe.
Be careful on your follow through there. Don't go off the edge. Oh, very sweet. Look at that. Get there. That's a putt.
All right. Well, Brian, not really a bad shot. You can see the basket.
Well, yeah, at least I can see the basket. All right. Just take another stab at this.
Come on back.
I think I overshot. Big time.
I didn't think you had distance.
Now, I've been working on my jump putt all year. I've been watching those guys like, Thalberg and some of these guys, Cam Todd, just bam! So,
There you go.
let's see what happens.
Come on, get in.
Get it. Yeah, baby. Nice 3. Oh, Todd, thanks so much for showing us around.
Thanks. Glad to have you out here.
It's the toboggan course at Kensington Metro Park in the greater Detroit area. Now, Todd, this is a temporary course, but there are plenty of other courses around here. If people are looking for more information, where can they go?
For more information, of course, you can go to the Discraft website, discraft.com, or the local club, clubkensington.org.
Disc golf in Southwest Michigan, it does rock. Each year, as the PDGA National Tour grows, so does the number of players who are out there touring full-time on the tour. And today we're with some of the folks who are going to be out there in 2003 for the first time. They're the Wingard family. We've got Ben, Meg, and Peter. You guys, nice to see you.
Thanks. Nice to see you.
So we're sitting here in front of your just purchased new Mini, so I guess you guys are going to be the Mini crew out there next year.
That's right. Unfortunately, that's probably what's going to happen, yeah.
So Peter, how did you get involved in disc golf, and what made you decide to take the family on the road?
Well, I've been playing disc stuff for forever. My father started playing with me when I was 8 years old and just throw around the yard, and played Ultimate for about 15 years and played pretty seriously. Played in Europe for a while. And one of the main reasons I moved to Michigan was it was a really good Ultimate team when I was coming back to the States. And then I didn't play anything for like 6 years. I started my own company and worked really hard at that. And then 2000 was a really rough year for my company, and 2001 was rough too. And I started picking up disc golf again, and I'm really glad I did, because I think it saved my sanity for sure. For sure.
So, and what actually inspired you to say, not only do I want to go out on the tour full time, but I want to take the family too?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great time for Ben to go out on the road. I mean, he's just 18 months old now, and it's by the time he's 5 or 6, he probably needs a more steady sort of situation. But for the next few years, I think us all being able to spend a lot of time together and be with all the great people that play disc golf and see the whole United States, and I think we'll have a lot of fun.
Now, Peter, you're the disc golfer in the family. So, Meg, while he's out, shooting around on the weekend, what are you planning on doing with Ben?
We'll watch a lot of good golf, and we'll make some art and check out the country.
Well, we'll certainly be out there, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys out there.
Right on.
And good luck for the rest of the weekend here.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.